I never thought I'd watch a Mercedes sink nose first into my grandfather's irrigation ditch. But there it was, chrome grille buried in mud, engine hissing like it knew it was guilty. And behind the wheel sat the woman who'd spent months trying to steal my land. Funny thing is, I didn't need to lift a finger. Gravity and a little planning did all the work. My name's Ryan Mitchell, 58, retired Army engineer. After decades of noise and orders, I came back to what I thought would be peace, my granddad's old farm on the edge of Austin, Texas. 12 acres of cracked soil, a red barn, half-leaning and quiet. The kind of quiet that feels earned. Next door, a shiny new neighborhood called Meadowbrook Heights with perfect lawns and a homeowners association that ran tighter than a military base. The president, Chloe Thompson. Blonde bob clipboard SUV, and an ego that could block out the sun. The first time she came by, she didn't introduce herself. She just stopped her car by my fence, lowered her sunglasses and said, "You know this field connects directly to our emergency access road, right?" I told her, "No, ma'am, this here's private land." She smiled. "Well, let's just keep things friendly, Mr. Mitchell. HOA policy allows temporary passage in case of community need." That phrase, community need, stuck with me. I'd heard that tone before. The tone people use right before they take something that isn't theirs. 2 days later, I woke up to tire tracks cutting through my tomato rows. Fresh, deep, and judging by the width, Mercedes tires. I followed them to the back fence where the HOA's private road started. It wasn't temporary access. It was a shortcut. I caught her again that afternoon, phone in hand, recording like I was the villain. "It's public easement," she claimed. I told her, "Show me the paperwork." She said, "Oh, I'll have my assistant send it over." Spoiler, there was no assistant. There was no paperwork. Still, I tried to play nice. I fixed the fence. I even put up a sign, "Private property," thinking it'd be enough. But that just seemed to fuel her. Within a week, she was back this time with 2 other HOA members, all in pastel polos and fake concern. "Ryan, we're worried about accessibility. You're blocking a potential emergency route." "I'm blocking trespassers," I said. They wrote something down on a clipboard like I'd just confessed to a felony. That's when the letters started showing up. Formal notice of obstruction, violation of Community Cooperation Act. They even fined me for a road I didn't live on. I laughed the first time, then stopped laughing when they sent a second notice threatening further action. I went to the county clerk's office to double-check my land records. The woman behind the counter found nothing. No easement, no access clause, no legal right-of-way. It was all fake. When I told her what was happening, she sighed and said, "You wouldn't be the first one that HOAs tried to bully." That's when I realized I wasn't dealing with a misunderstanding. I was dealing with power. Or rather, someone addicted to it. The next morning, Chloe showed up again, this time waving a document with a golden seal. "Here's the authorization from the county," she said, smug. I took it. The paper felt off cheap stock, and the county's eagle logo faced left. It's supposed to face right. I'd seen enough forged reports in my career to know when someone printed a lie. "You forged this?" I said. "Excuse me, you heard me." She smiled, that perfect politician smile. "Careful, Ryan. Accusations like that can get you sued." That night I sat on the porch staring at my field, the tire tracks, the broken rows, the sign half leaning. For the first time I thought maybe I should just sell the damn place. Maybe peace wasn't meant for me. Every time I tried to fight people like her, won. They had the money, the lawyers, the committees. I had dirt and pride, and I was getting tired. I poured a drink and told myself, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too stubborn to let go. But then I looked at that old barn, my granddad's initials carved into the beam, and something twisted in my gut. He didn't fight in Korea for me to let some suburban tyrant erase his legacy. That's when something in me switched back on. The same thing that used to switch on right before a mission. Focus, precision, calm before controlled chaos. I started digging, figuratively and literally. I pulled every public HOA record I could find, financials, meeting minutes, expenditures. Took me 3 days to notice a pattern: $15,000 transferred from the Playground Development Fund into community outreach. a line that led directly to Chloe's mortgage payments. She was stealing from her own people and trying to grab my land to cover it up under a fake expansion project. So I gathered the evidence, screenshots, bank trails, emails. Sent it all to the County Building Oversight Department. Then I set my own plan in motion. Step 1. I applied for a legal installation of vehicle control devices on my private property, rubber spike strips used for farm security. 100% above board. Step 2. I pretended to give up. Put up a for sale by owner sign right by the road. Let her think she'd broken me. And she took the bait. A week later, Meadowbrook Heights hosted a community investment event. Chloe stood in front of a crowd of homeowners, microphone in hand, bragging about how our expansion into neighboring property will improve safety and access. I watched from my porch, coffee in hand, calm as sunrise. Then came the main event, Chloe climbing into her shiny Mercedes, announcing, "Let's show everyone the new access route." She revved the engine, waved to the crowd, and hit the gas straight through my fence line. 3 seconds later, pop, 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 pop. 4 tires gone. The car slid, spun sideways, and dropped nose first into the irrigation ditch. Steam hissed, audience gasped, and I just stood there, watching. I walked over, slow boots crunching gravel. She was yelling from the driver's seat. "You're finished, Ryan. I'll sue you. I'll have your pension." I held up my phone recording. "Everything here's legal." "Chloe, county permit 4879B. You drove onto private property." Again. The crowd whispered. A few started recording too. Then someone asked, "Wait, he's got a permit." I nodded. "Sure do." And that's when things turned. Chloe tried to flip the script, voice trembling just enough for pity. "I was only doing this for the safety of our children. This man's dangerous." She pulled out her phone, played a voice memo of me saying, "I'll handle it myself." Out of context, it sounded bad, but her phone was still unlocked, and the next audio clip auto-played. Her voice clear as daylight. "Once I replace the $15,000 from the playground fund, no one will ever know." Silence. Then a man in the crowd muttered, $15,000 from the playground." The HOA treasurer, pale as paper, stepped forward. "Is that true, Chloe?" She froze. Tried to spin another lie. No one listened. Someone called the county inspector. Another filmed the car stuck in the ditch, and for the first time since she moved in, Chloe had nothing to say. Within weeks, she lost everything: the presidency, her realtor's license, her reputation. The county found fraud, misuse of HOA funds, and document forgery. Her house went up for auction before winter. I didn't go to the hearing. I didn't need to. I'd already seen the real verdict that day by the ditch, every neighbor turning away from her, realizing who she really was. 3 months later, her daughter Emma stopped by. Quiet kid, maybe 20. She handed me a letter. Said, "My mom asked me to give you this." Inside, handwritten words. "You were right. I got lost in power. Thank you for stopping me before I went further." No apology could fix what she'd done, but I appreciated the honesty. I kept that letter in the same drawer as the permit papers and one small piece of the rubber spike strip, a reminder. Sometimes justice doesn't come with flashing lights or handcuffs. Sometimes it's quieter. A moment where the noise stops and truth finally echoes back. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that standing your ground isn't about pride. It's about reminding the world that lines once drawn are meant to be respected.